When Wangamati was taken before the EACC, he claimed that it was persecution and not prosecution. Of course, he was playing to the gallery. Kericho, Bomet, etc. Governors have gone baptismal of fire. But a governor associating himself either as a pro-government, a governor associating himself as anti-government or anti-people connected to the government, any problem that he has, you will hear that EACC is being misused. For example, if a governor who is closely associated with Wamunyoro has a problem, then he says that he's being persecuted because of him being close to Wamunyoro. On the other hand, if somebody, a governor wants to oppose somebody close to those in the power, then they say, we are being, like this case, I'm being persecuted because WETANG'ULA wants to give a chance to his brother. So whether you are a pro Wamunyoro or anti-individuals in the government, you are whatever problems you have an easy excuse of saying you are being persecuted. Now let us look at how Wangamati became the governor in the first instance. As the elections were approaching 2017, Bungoma's governor then, Ken Lusaka, and the senator then, Moses Masika Wetang'ula, were not agreeing. The governor was supporting Uhuru Ruto, and that is why even after he failed, he was made the Speaker of the Senate. On the other hand, the senator then, Moses Masika Wetang'ula, was supporting the opposition. So the reason why they disagreed was because of the choice, the presidential choice. Each one was on his own side. So Wangamati got a chance because of the differences between Lusaka and Wetang'ula. That is how he got a chance. Now let us look at the person Wetang'ula would have preferred if today elections were held. Before Timothy Wanyonyi Ohwa Wetang'ula shifted from the capital to Bungoma, Moses Masika Ohwa Wetang'ula would have preferred Didmus Baraza. In my view, it is Didmus Baraza who should be worried that Wetang'ula is shifting. That is my view. Concern about shifting would also have come from the electorate. Because does the speaker support someone from his party, Ford Kenya, his coalition, Kenya Kwanza, or his own brother? Remember, being the most senior person in the Kenya Kwanza coalition, Ford Kenya or any of those political parties that are associated with Kenya Kwanza, for example, UDA and so on, they may have wanted to have a candidate. Now, if he would have said, no, let Timothy Wanyonyi Ohwa Wetang'ula be the candidate, they would say you are siding with your brother. And if he would have said he would side with somebody from Ford Kenya, they would say you are disowning your blood brother. So, but things this time may be easier for Moses Masika Wetang'ula, because Raila is in the broad-based government. And so Wetang'ula could claim that Ford Kenya is donating the seat to ODM because both are. So that is the trick he can use to support his brother. And as I've said, if there is anybody who should complain or who should feel it, is somebody who's called Didymus Baraza, because before Timothy Wanyonyi Wetang'ula transferred himself to the Bungoma from the capital, uh, the speaker would have supported people like Didymus Baraza. Now, let us move on. The two brothers have close relationship in three fronts. They have very close relationship on three fronts. The first and most important is that they are blood relatives. They are sons of the same father and the same mother. Of course, they have step brothers, but the two of them are blood brother. Waswahili wanasema ndugu watoka nitoke. Two, they have close relationship when it comes to legal profession. Actually, Timothy did internship with his brother at his brother's law firm. And three, their relationship is political. On brotherhood, very few brothers can claim to have a cordial relationship like Moses Masika Wetang'ula and Timothy Wanyonyi Wetang'ula. Very few brothers can claim that. So when it comes to legal affairs, Masika mentored, kwanza Masika motivated Wanyonyi to study for law. Masika mentored Wanyonyi into joining legal fraternity. Actually, Wanyonyi did his pupillage at Masika's law firm. It was Masika who decided to get out of it was Wanyonyi who decided to get out of Masika's law firm against the will of Masika. Masika did not want him to leave, especially at the time when he left. But Wanyonyi insisted on leaving. In what must have been an armed robbery, Tim Wanyonyi Wetang'ula was shot, permanently disabling him. Before the shooting, Tim was a well-performing lawyer in his brother's law firm. When Masika Wetang'ula gave him tough cases and made him head of a lucrative department, it was purely on Tim Wanyonyi's capability as a lawyer. But other lawyers within the Wetang'ula law firm grumbled and even told Tim aside that he was getting favorable treatment as a biological brother to the owner of the farm. Of course, Tim would not carry that information to his brother. Tim would not go and tell his brother this is the tension, whatever. He used to swallow the bitter pill himself. Things took a dramatic change when Timothy Wanyonyi Wetang'ula was shot and disabled in what obviously was an armed carjacking or robbery. During the days when he was sick, Masika decided to retain him both as a head of the department, the department that he had made, and also as he was in the hospital or disabled at home, being treated at home, Masika decided to place him still the head of that department, and he placed him on full pay. You will not believe the next sentence. This annoyed the lawyers who wanted Tim to be demoted because of his disability, and they take over. You see, if Moses Masika WETANG'ULA would have seen that his brother was disabled and could not work in the office for as many hours as he was doing so, these lawyers wanted, for example, one of them to be now made the head of that department and Timothy to still be just an ordinary lawyer. That is when Tim decided to start his own law firm and also decided not to use the family name WETANG'ULA because people may misinterpret it. It was at that time that Tim felt that these people are complaining that I am head of a department, but the training, experience, and the brain that I have, I am not just fit to head a department, but I am fit to start my own law firm. That is when a team decided to start his law firm and also decided not to use the family name WETANG'ULA because people would misinterpret that to mean that is riding. You have seen, for those of you who are younger than me but old enough, you'll remember that the person who started the City Hopper was the MD or the CEO of Kenya Bus. He decided to start another bus company with the different colors and whatever. Of course, he took the original. Actually, the City Hopper color is the original color of Kenya Bus. That is the color we used to use when I was in primary and secondary school. So, this is what I'm saying. You start your own company, you leave alone the other one, you don't associate with that. He would have even said what? Nairobi Bus Service or something like that. But he just decided to call it City Hopper. The same with Timothy. Timothy is as much a WETANG'ULA as is Moses Masika WETANG'ULA and all other brothers and stepbrothers that they have. But he decided that since his brother is much more known as WETANG'ULA, he decided not to use that word. And that is why he's so much used to using the name Timothy Wanyonyi. Then it comes to, that is law. I say I've talked, the first thing was to do with the family issues. Their relationship is very cordial. When it comes to legal matters, their relationship is very cordial. But funny thing is that they rarely are on the same page politically. Moses Masika WETANG'ULA joined politics a long time ago as a nominated MP of Kanu. And he has been in the August House continuously for very many years. Timothy Wanyonyi started politics later on. First of all, as a councillor in Nairobi City Council and so on. But the two are rarely on the same page politically. When we talk of the other two things, family, and legal fraternity. They almost always, on any other matter apart from politics, they agree 100%. On politics, they disagree 100%. On any other matter, they agree 100%. On politics, they disagree 100%. In many of the political differences, it used to be very, very hot. Just like the Kinagashagwas. Gashagwas were also very hot. The Wetangulas political tension was very hot until they mutually agreed that out there they can talk politics. They can talk partisan politics. But once they entered the compound, the home compound, uh, they discuss anything. They can discuss anything except one thing: politics. They came and agreed, and even up to today, they have never gone against that agreement. They said that when we are out there, we talk politics, but within the home compound, within the village, we don't talk politics. Their political paths was made easier because Tim was a councillor and later on an MP in the capital. Throughout up to now, Tim's politics has been centered around Nairobi. And throughout, Masika's politics has been centered in Bungoma. First as an MP, then as a senator. Even those days when he used to be a cabinet minister. When Tim Wanyonyi of WETANG'ULA wanted to be the capital governor, it was the feeling of many that he can make a better governor in Bungoma. Many of them included me. But apart from campaigning from different parties, questions could come out. If true, in 2022, he would have gone to Bungoma to be the governor, there would have questions would have come up. They would say that out of the 3 county positions, the family would have taken 2, except that one of women rep. So that one would have brought problems. But you know, time heals. Time heals. There is a Swahili saying that mtu amepata kazi. But President Ruto has amended it to say kazi imepata mtu. Kazi imepata mtu. For Tim to be the governor of Bungoma, we have to repeat that, what Ruto says, kazi imepata mtu, and we'd say about Tim becoming the governor of, it would say governor amepata Timothy. Yani, when we are electing people, in very many cases, we have bad choices. We have bad choices, and we usually vote for him or her whom we feel that is the better one of the bad choices. But when it comes to Tim, he's suitable even to be the governor for Nairobi. But you see, the governor of Nairobi is 1 term. And also you can see in the 2022 how they played on Timothy. So it means that it's just like a shoe, it fits Timothy's leg. As I said, people were wondering why the capital governor was snatched from him, yet he had a safe seat in his home county. But one question keeps on lingering. The seat of the speaker is a very insecure seat. The seat of a speaker is very insecure. Yes, Ruto may come back. And if you ask me, I would say that And that is why in many of my recordings I've always told Ruto, hapana tetemeka bwana, concentrate on your job because you have no competition. But what I want to say here is this: Ruto may come back, and when he comes back, the percentage of probability even decreases, because he may come back, but the majority of MP may be from the opposition, and a majority of MP being from the opposition means that where the majority of MPs are from the opposition means that they'll vote for a speaker from the opposition. We have seen that before. We have seen Ole Kamwaro, Ole Kaparo, not Ole Kamwaro. Ole Kaparo, I think he faced that, but I'm sure Marende also faced this, in such that Marende offered himself for the second time to be the speaker, but since the coalition that had won the election were a coalition that was not for Marende, so they chose another speaker. But at that point in time, Marende was the best person to be the speaker at that time, but he could not be a speaker because the coalition that had won the election that time was a coalition that was anti him. There was a coalition that he was not in it. That is why I say that does it mean that Wetang'ula has decided speaker or retirement? Because yes, Ruto may come back, and I would say Ruto most likely will come back. But then when he comes back, it is quite possible. You have seen even the county government of Nairobi that Sakaja's party is the minority and ODM is the majority. So he may be the same side with Ruto, and Ruto comes back, and then when Ruto comes back, you find that the political parties that have taken most seats want somebody else. Again, another thing can say, you can remember twice there has been rumors that Raila has an individual earmarked for Wetang'ula's job. There was a time when it was so said, and lawyers stood behind Wetang'ula, and even recently, when MPs were being castigated for being bribed by government ministers and state cooperative and governors, where they were being bribed so as to vote for one way or another. You remember President Ruto saying that he's a consumer of raw intelligence. So some people interpreted it that an opportunity, Raila is hiding somewhere with a candidate of his. If you ask me, I don't know whether I'm right or not. If you ask me, maybe they have Orengo in mind. Maybe they have Orengo in mind. So what I'm trying to say is that it is quite possible that even if Ruto goes back, there are things that can be hurdles. First hurdle is Ruto may go back, but with the minority in parliament. Two, he may go back, but Raila having supported him, there would be an agreement that Ruto does what? Surrenders the governorship to a person appointed by Raila. So with Timothy wanting to go back, obviously, you saw Ken Lusaka was the Speaker of the Senate, and he went back to Bungoma to be again the governor. It is quite possible for Wetang'ula next time to go back to Bungoma and try to be the senator again, but it becomes a challenge. You know, I'm trying to look at it this way. It becomes a bit of a challenge when his own brother, Tim Wanyonyi Ohwa Wetang'ula, wants to be the governor. So it is safe to conclude here that since they are now in the same political formation of broad-based, maybe most likely is that Moses Masika Wetang'ula may be saying, speaker or nothing.